iilluminaughtii has been exposed for mistreating her editors. Now, a couple days ago, I made this video talking about this drama that happened between iilluminaughtii and Legal Eagle. Basically, iilluminaughtii just kind of like falsely accused Legal Eagle or his editors of like ripping her off, stealing from her, stealing her editing style, when in reality, all it was just common effects that like everyone on YouTube already uses anyway. And the editor was just simply reaching out to iilluminaughtii to learn how to do some of these effects for their own channel. It wasn't even for Legal Eagle's channel. And honestly, that whole drama basically backfired on iilluminaughtii, as it turns out that she's plagiarized a decent amount of her videos. So, you know, instead of like apologizing or admitting that they were wrong, iilluminaughtii just ignored it. They just deleted their tweets and pretended like it never happened. And within my video, I had mentioned that the reason that iilluminaughtii is able to like produce as much content as they can is because they have editors. And it's kind of been alleged for a while that she doesn't really treat her editors the best. Well, it looks like today those editors have finally come out and revealed themselves, and I'm just gonna go over what they had to say. So this YouTuber by the name of The Click, who has like over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, would post this thread calling out iilluminaughtii. Hey ya peeps, I've seen the recent drama regarding iilluminaughtii, and I would like to clarify I'm not affiliated with her and haven't been for over 2 years. I left her and her collaboration group Sad Milk due to similar behavior as seen in the recent events. Lashing out at friends and fans, paranoia, and generally poor anger management, to name a few. Eventually, I believe pretty much the whole group left her. The last meeting I ever had with her, she spent half an hour, I think, hard to know, screaming at me for an array of random things, calling me a bad friend, lazy, and a bunch of random accusations that didn't really have anything to do with me. There's no way you can have the resume you claim and be this effing stupid, and so on. No one even raised their voice back at her. I left along with several other members, half the group at the time. She spent the next few months spreading lies and half-truths about us on the Sad Milk Reddit page and fake posting on Twitter. I still have all the screenshots. She would turn friends against you or specifically team up with other people she knew didn't like you, so she had allies against you. Rallying mainly banned problematic community members known to be liars and conflict seekers. When people started questioning that maybe she was the reason everyone left, there was a very convenient up-digging of 11 to 14-year-old videos of me, stuff I made back when I started my channel in 2009 when I was a teenager. And as you can probably guess, some of the jokes from that time age like milk. I publicly owned up to my past mistakes and apologized, doing my best to be transparent and honest about my past. She would still harp on it, ignoring the fact that it had already been addressed, trying to direct as much attention to it as possible, publicly stating it was a bad apology, along with vague posting about it in comments on the collaboration channel. Maybe in an attempt to get people to assume I'd been kicked out for poor behavior rather than leave because of her own bad behavior. She, assuming it was her as she had channel access, also liked to pull what I can only describe as very petty acts of revenge. For example, some people left comments on the collaboration channel saying, "Good that Click left." They obviously got ratioed hard as people were there for the creators, and she would manually go in and delete the ratioing comments but leave the original hate comment. She tried to gain control of my Discord when it surpassed hers inside by tossing around accusations at staff and trying to get rid of my team and replacing it with hers, giving me the ultimatum to fire my entire senior team or be publicly fired from Sad Milk myself. I was still a YouTube freshie at the time, and she was quite intimidated, claiming connections and clout, reputation, and powerful friends, so everyone stayed mostly silent and had to constantly look over our shoulders over the next year. None of us even mentioning the whole thing. We were worried talking in our own Discords as it became apparent she had spies within our moderation ranks. We were just hoping we wouldn't have our reputation completely destroyed for simply walking away. This is just a brief summary of events, and it's sad to see that she hasn't changed. And I mean, wow, that just sounds like completely unhinged, manipulative behavior, and it definitely lines up with what she tried to do to Legal Eagle. I mean, it's very clear that her intent was to garner outrage against him and accuse him of plagiarism, which can be very damaging to someone's brand, especially on YouTube. So it doesn't really surprise me that she's engaged in this type of behavior in the past. Now, not only did The Click come out against her, but also one of her editors editors known as Wonderstruck, and this is what they had to say. Forgive me for being this scattered, emotions and all, gotta love them. A sad milk thread. After being threatened with a breach for speaking out, I can confirm that the behavior Blair exhibits is entirely accurate here. I am aware of the bridges I burned, and I remain where I am after Sad Milk split. It was a constant negative echo chamber that I took part in. Regardless, I used to edit for Sad Milk. Blair made no effort to take direction. She made everything about herself. Sad Milk at the time was the nearest thing to family I had, which sounds pathetic, but the content creator space is a very isolating one. The amount of hours I would spend online making drafts, editor tutorials for new hires, staying up trying to get some editing in if editors were short-handed. I missed Christmas with my brother and father fixing the mistake of the editor she hired, and I didn't even get a thank you, and it took me more than half a month to even get paid. Meanwhile, she delays payments to editors so she can purchase expensive clothes, visit BMW dealerships, and spend hundreds on food in a day. While I do hold my beliefs towards certain matters, every month or so there is a new villain of the week, and they would one second be a normal person in our lives, and the next second, suddenly a hidden monster through, you guessed it, Blair's mouth. To say Sad Milk split on creative differences is a joke. It's a flat out lie. Again, I'm aware of the bridges burned, but I can confirm that call took place where she screamed, cursed, and had a meltdown towards not the click and one topic at a time. It was a train wreck. It was just supposed to be a fun group project, and we had become profitable, even to a small extent. Blair wanted creative lead, and we went from doing fun creative topics more in line with the Reddit we would all cover on our own channels to doing unenthusiastic view content. Blair took control and wouldn't listen to how the videos should be made, and so we got hyper loud music with childlike sprites paired with adult humor, which just made being a part of Sad Milk humiliating. My friends and I would watch Sad Milk and laugh, not at the content, but how awful it had become. Not due to anyone not being entertaining, but the lack of quality control. It was an editorial nightmare. It's why, in part, I stopped editing because my really well-made content got roped into that by proxy. Blair did not care. It was hers, and anyone who dared to try and take the reins was a threat. After Click, OT, and Salty left, I did almost all the heavy lifting, which is a thankless job for being small on the internet. I tried making us schedules. I motivated Blair during another mental breakdown of hers to not delete the channel or the Discord since I actively read through the comments on both, and we had people who we mattered to. After months of behind-the-scenes insults towards Click and OT, it became so stale and negative. Yeah, we all took part, but after it going on so long, just became day after day, Blair would sit and check Click and OT's social blade. She would make fake accounts to stalk them. Not just them, but a large portion of the commentary community. I've personally seen her try to get her lawyer to shut down anyone who says anything against her, and they ruin her day by saying, yeah, we can't really do anything. It's insane. It's insane. Innocent people don't work so hard to try and silence others. We would get no work done. I can't count how many times I pleaded and set up meetings for us to do something, and nobody cared. I thought I had a friend who was hurting, then I saw how I had moved to villain, and like everyone else, I got shut out, trash talked, and the people I'd made efforts to be friends with wouldn't even acknowledge my existence. For me though, I'd already moved states under good faith. I was bettering my life. In 30 days of living with Blair, it was a nightmare. I felt like I was trapped in her home always. She makes everyone her enemy. She called Wonder checking in to see if I'm okay, an invasion of privacy. I sent her numerous messages trying to show I wanted to be her friend. She lives like an actual monster. Her home is a mess, like Hoarder's bad. Constantly subtweets about me on Twitter and ignoring me. If I dare say anything back, her Discord manager would happily remind me of my contract. This is disgusting. So my therapist, who she accuses me of stealing because she recommended, suggested I leave that house at all costs, and I did. And the details I can't get into further due to legalities, but I ended up with no car, hardly any clothes, and money to my name, and no home. Now working full time again, I had no time for my channel. I had cried, bled, and worked through hell to get up. So I watched it die, since my main concern now was just food on my table, all because I made friends with one of the most vile people on the planet. Nobody wanted to talk with me, and I was too afraid to go fully public as I didn't know the reach this massive creator had. I had everything IRL and online taken from me. She personally threw my YouTube play button in the trash. If that isn't symbolic, man, I don't know what is. I've spent the last 2 years of my life rebuilding from the ground up due to this woman. The only difference as I get to come back stronger as a person, she doesn't. She can't take that away from everyone she has screwed over. Blair, you can't hide anymore. Sooner or later, you were going to push everyone you cared about away, and you'd realize the world isn't out to get you. But you made your fears a reality all on your own. I'm not afraid of you. You don't get that from me anymore. Never again. I apologize for how long this thread is. I understand this place probably isn't the best place to do it, but I'm so sick of knowing all this information and never being able to say anything. Have a good day. Be well, everyone. Wonder. And I mean, wow. That is just a lot. thoughts. It is pretty clear that this is not some sort of like one-time mistake from her or a whoopsie or a mess up. This is like calculated behavior. This is a pattern that is hurting people around her. And the fact that she treats people this way, treats people who were her friends this way, is just awful. And I hope that these people can see some sort of justice, because this just isn't right. Anyway, these are just my thoughts on this entire situation. If you guys have enjoyed, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel.